So I went over and parked in front of the club, went in, and he's standing in the hallway, my back to me. I saw those two stars. And we always pulling jokes on each other in prison camp. And he's talking to some colonel on him. And I just tiptoed in, and I meant to take my foot and tap him on his bottom, a little lightly. And for some reason, I gave him a pretty swift kick. I didn't mean to kick him that hard, and he turned around and doubled up his fist and started hitting me. He said, "Damn you, Gilliam, you ain't changed a bit." I said, "I've always wanted to kick a major general in the ass." Anyway, those things happen in your military career. And was there any other questions that you wanted to poke at me?
Oh, yes. Can you tell us what this region did for World War II, kind of the significance? Did we do anything to contribute to the war effort?
Well, Oak Ridge. A lot of people worked at Oak Ridge, and Eastman had a lot to do with Oak Ridge in developing the nuclear bomb, nuclear device. And I say that's one of the most important things that happened in this region. Many people from Kingsport worked at Oak Ridge. And that's a very important factor in ending World War II with the Japanese. That's local, and we had a lot of veterans from this area that participated in the Pacific and Europe in World War II.
All right, and just one more question. Why do you think it's important to preserve Kingsport's history?
Well, it's important here in Kingsport's history. We have a lot of history locally, in the local area, such as Sycamore Shoals over at Elizabethton, the Transylvania Agreement was drawn up there, and we had a lot of activity concerning the Battle of Kings Mountain. Men from right here, many of them. John Sperinchen had a farm down on the Old Chuck. He commanded a regiment at Kings Mountain. Isaac Chevy from right in this immediate area of Sullivan County, he's a regimental commander. And William Campbell from 7 Mile Ford up in Virginia, he was a commander at Battle of Kings Mountain. So we had a lot of men, local men, that participated in the Battle of Kings Mountain. And really, here's the thing about it. It was looking bad for us. The British were gaining everywhere. And here's a group of mountain men whips a British outfit at the Kings Mountain. That gave us the esprit de corps we needed to carry on our battle for our freedom from British rule. That gave us the esprit de corps we needed. It was a small battle, say 1,000 or 1,100 men on either side. But it was a very important battle for giving us the shot in the arm we needed to carry on our fight from British rule. Well, John Sevier had a farm down on the Nolechucky River. Isaac Chevy, regiment commander, from right here. William Campbell from 7 Mile Ford. It's called Aspenville back then, who was commander. Now, William Campbell was a captain. Wait, let me go back a little bit. Patrick Henry, when Dunmore moved the powder out in the bay, his arm then, Patrick Henry was made governor of Virginia. Governor. And he come down and took Dunmore's palace, we won't call it a palace, in Williamsburg, and he brought his sister Elizabeth with him. And he was up at Scotchtown when this happened, and he moved down to Dunmore's palace, and he brought his sister Elizabeth. Now, William Campbell was a captain at that time at 7 Mile Ford, Aspenville. So Patrick Henry called for troops. So William Campbell rode with his men to Williamsburg. And he courted Elizabeth Henry Patrick, and he married her. And he brought her back about 2 years later to 7 Mile Ford, and he was made colonel and went back. And when the forces met at Sycamore Shoals, William Campbell's men coming out of Virginia, Isaac Shelby's men from here, John Spear's men from that area, they met at Sycamore Shoals at Elizabeth. And they started on their trek to King's Mountain. And they left with a few cattle, but that slowed them down. They butchered them. And all they had left on was a bag of parched corn in their bag. Now, here's an unusual item. Our mountain men over here, they were good shots. Powder and lead was scarce. When they went out to hunt, they didn't go out for a sporting event. They went out to bring meat into the table. And they made every shot count. Marksmanship was great. It was important. And it proved, our mountain men proved themselves at the Battle of King's Mountain. Now it is said that Cornwallis wrote George Washington a letter, and he said, "Your men did not fight fire at the Battle of King's Mountain. Said they got behind trees and rocks to shoot at us." And they said, Washington wrote him back and said, "Those trees and rocks had two sides to them." Anyway, like I said, the King's Mountain battle, it was, say, 1,100 each, but it is a very important esprit de corps reason for us carrying on our fight for freedom from British rule.
That's why Cornwallis went from Charlotte over to Yorktown, right?
Well, Cornwallis, he left Charlotte and went on up to Yorktown. Now, here, I want to add something. In my research, we never give the French much credit. Now, I want you to listen to this carefully. Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were in power in France. Now, they sent the French Navy over to Yorktown to blockade Yorktown, so Lord how the British commander couldn't send reinforcements down to Yorktown. Now, I will say this. I don't think the British sent the Navy and Marines over here to help us, or their love for us, but was for hatred of the British. Now, when the French blockaded it, that let us cause Cornwallis to surrender. Was from the British blockade because they could not get reinforcements. Most people don't realize it. And we never give the French credit for that. I have seen nothing in our early history that we give the French credit for that. But now listen. French spent a lot of money. The French government was broke up. In 1793, the French decapitated Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette.
Well, don't you have some weapons from King's Mountain?
Yes, I have a gun used at Battle of King's Mountain, made by a man by the name of Betts, and he's in the book. And this was brought back by a veteran of the Battle of King's Mountain. This gun was, and his son made guns after him. Mm-hmm. And I have the history of the gun and who brought it back and everything from King's Mountain.
Would you like to see that for the film?
Now, should we show a little history of Kingsport?